Hello and welcome to Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Amritanshu Rai and you're watching Constitutionally Yours. In this program, we make an attempt to demystify the Constitution. And joining us in this endeavour, we've got a distinguished panel of guests. We've got Shri Jogaram Patel, nominated by the Speaker. He is Member of Legislative Assembly, Rajasthan. We've got nominated by the Leader of Opposition, Mr. Sukhram Bishnoi. He is also Member of Legislative Assembly, Rajasthan. And nominated by the Chief Justice of the Rajasthan High Court, we have Justice Govind Mathur, Judge of the Rajasthan High Court. We also have in our audience law students from Jodhpur National Law University and also judicial officers who are under training. In this program, we will discuss directive principles of state policy. And let's straight away get into discussion mode. Article 44 of the Uniform Civil Code, it reads, the state shall endeavour to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. Now straight away, sir, first, this is a goal that is there in the Constitution. 60 years have passed, we are nowhere close to achieving this goal.
It is true.
Sir, today the status is that there is a lot of politics that is happening on this issue. Is there a political will in the state to actually achieve this goal?
You are perfectly right in this subject. As a politically, we are not able to achieve the goal as per preamble and as per constitutional directive principles. Article 44E is concerned. From very beginning to Sabano case to the last Lalit Roy case, Honorable Apex Court so many times come to the conclusion that no, all the women or the person in the residence of India or a citizen in India are equal in the law. But some political amendments or some political pressures, we are not able to.
What do you stand for?
We want a uniform civil code in throughout India for all the citizens.
Has there been an attempt by the state which is ruled by you to move in that direction?
So far this at this time is concerned, we not move any perfectly law in the state. We can say sorry, we are not perfectly state in the, we are not able to introduce any perfect law on this stage. But please, you know, it is a subject matter of the central government. It is a central subject. It can't introduce by the particular state.
बिश्नोई जी, इस मामले में आपके पार्टी द्वारा स्टेटेड पोजीशन है, वो सारे लोग जानते हैं. कई बार उसको लेकर के कंट्रोवर्सीज भी रही और मिसाल के तौर पे हर एक जगह ये केस कोट किया जाता है, शाहबानो केस. उस मामले में आपकी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो कि अब ऑपोजिशन में है यहाँ पे, उन्होंने एक स्टैंड लिया. अभी आपको लगता है कि डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी में ये जो डाला गया है, ये एक टारगेट की तरह है जो कि स्टेट को अचीव करना है. उस मामले में क्या आप तैयार हैं या पहल करना भी चाहिए या नहीं?
पहल करनी चाहिए स्टेट को. जो डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल है, इस बात को लेकर के लोगों को जागरूक करना चाहिए. लोगों को जो कल्याणकारी काम है वो भी करने चाहिए और कुल मिलाकर के स्टेट ही करेगी, सेंटर तो कर नहीं सकता डायरेक्ट प्रिंसिपल पर, ये मेरा मानना है.
लेकिन आपके पार्टी का क्या स्टैंड है इस मामले में?
पार्टी का स्टैंड तो पहले सावन मामले में आया हुआ है, स्पष्ट आया हुआ है.
क्या है वो स्टेट कीजिए.
वो तो अपने अपने जो धर्म के जो नियम बने हुए हैं, कायदे बने हुए हैं, हिंदुओं के अलग बने हुए हैं, मुस्लिम अलग बने हैं, उसी आधार पर चलना चाहिए.
मतलब सबको अपने पर्सनल लॉ को फॉलो करने का अधिकार होना चाहिए. और ये जो टारगेट दिया हुआ है डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी में, इसको लागू करने का समय आपके मुताबिक फिलहाल नहीं है. फिलहाल नहीं. सर, would like to get you in on this. You've heard the 2 points of view and that's where probably the actual fight is. Because there is no consensus, political consensus among the people, I mean among the political parties, and that is where the political will is lacking. But why is it important, sir? Why is it important for us to have?
You see, the constitution was that was enforced on 26th of January 1950. So it is our ultimate goal to have a uniform civil code. Much back in 1985 in Shahbano's case, certain observations were made by the Supreme Court with regard to having uniform civil code. Then a very important case, that is of Sarla Mudgal. That was a case where one man, one Hindu man, he entered into a wedlock with a second marriage, and in that case a specific request was made by the Supreme Court to Honorable Prime Minister. You see, in that case, while giving directions, the Supreme Court mentioned that we hereby request Honorable Prime Minister to take initiative, and this was much back in the year 1995. But no steps have yet been taken. I understand that there may be certain practical problems. You must be knowing that while placing the bill with regard to Hindu Succession Act on the floor of Parliament, Pandit Nehru mentioned that yes, we are taking this first step. We are making amendments in the laws pertaining to the majority. But so far as other issues are concerned, we want consensus, we want entire atmosphere that, and you see it is quite reasonable also.
So if we try and understand the word consensus, what does it mean? Does it mean everyone has to agree? Does it mean majority has to agree? Does it mean that consensus means till everyone says yes, it doesn't happen?
No.
What does it mean?
No. You see, the principles of directive principles, these are, I know that these are not having legal force.
Right, sir.
But they are certainly having binding force.
Correct.
And binding force in the form of moral responsibility of
The state.
a state. It is a moral responsibility of the state. These are having educative value. I don't know what steps have been taken by us, including judiciary.
Right.
It is for legislature, for executive, for judiciary, for non-governmental organizations, everybody, that whether we have moved for any kind of awareness for this or not. You know, in several other countries, you will find certain amendments have been made in personal laws. In India too, these amendments have been introduced so far as majority is concerned. You see, Indian Succession Act, that is applicable for 6. So far as Hindu Succession Act is concerned, that is applicable for Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, Sikhs. But exclusion is there for
Muslims.
minorities as well as for tribes.
Tribes.
You see, in the case of Madhu Kishwar's case, that was the case pertaining to
Section 5.
that was a case pertaining, not Section 5, that was the case with regard to application of Hindu Succession Act for these tribals.
Right.
At that time also, a request was made to the state,
Right.
please take initiative. In that case, a minority judgment was there by Justice Ramaswamy. He in specific terms mentioned that though Hindu Succession Act can't be applied on tribes as it is, but it is required to be implemented as per its spirit qua tribes also.
Right. So basically what you're trying to say is the judiciary has been at the forefront of interpreting
Certainly.
for uniform
and what I understand that this is our moral obligation
to enforce it.
To enforce it.
I'll open up the floor for questions.
Good morning. My name is Ankit Handa. I am from National Law University, Jodhpur. My question is directed to the judiciary. So the Uniform Civil Code, should it be made throughout the territory of India as a single Uniform Civil Code, or should the Uniform Civil Code be state-wise?
You see, Uniform Civil Code is not a simple procedure. It is a way of life. It is not that you are taking sapadi or you are going for nikah. This is little bit more than that. It is day-to-day life, meaning thereby what about your succession rights, what about your matrimonial rights. You see, in the Hindu Marriage Act, there is a specific provision with regard to single marriage only, whereas that is not available in Muslim law. 4 marriages are permissible. I don't want to enter into this controversy, that is which is the correct thing or not. Similarly, under Hindu Succession Act, you will find that the girl is having all succession rights, including co-partitionary rights. After 2005, they are having co-partitionary rights also. So these are the issues which we are required to think on basis of the concept of equality. Ultimately, Hindu women, tribal women, Muslim women, Christian women, all are resident of India, all are Indian citizens, all are resident of India. So we are required to see in larger perspective. Procedures may be different, and ultimately it is for the legislature to think what procedure is to be adopted, to what extent rights are required to be given.
Next question.
So, absence of a uniform civil code means that there will be differential treatment for a Hindu woman, for a Hindu person and a Muslim person in matters like divorce, inheritance, etc. So, doesn't this absence fall directly inconsistent with the principle of rule of law that is so enshrined in our constitution?
Correct, correct.
You see, I just mentioned Article 14 concept of equality. Yes, to some extent, to great extent, it is there. But you see, ultimately it is a state that is to see what are the objective conditions. We can't create the state legislature, or the state can't create chaos. They must understand what are the objective conditions, and so far as judiciary is concerned, whatever law framed by the state legislature and the executive are required to implement that, we are required to check that, nothing more than that. One thing I want to say, so far as secularism concerned, you see, this is our motto, this is our inherent virtue. We want secularism, but you see in the constitution, so far as secularism is concerned, that is in parliament, what it is in our preamble, we the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. So secularism is inherent, but it is for state.
Okay.
So far as individual is concerned, individual is having his own right for faith and belief.
You would like to add to this, because definition of secularism and uniform civil code, these are very tight rope walks for the government.
Especially we can't distinguish between two, but you please understand two things. The uniform civil code is some principle to each and every citizen of India. So far procedure is concerned, as Honorable Judge Sahab says, so far procedure is concerned to some faith and belief in the particular custom or particular religion is something else. We want to introduce a uniform civil code means some principle like a divorce, like a succession, like a marriage, or some broad aspect of the law to be implemented by each and every citizen.
And which is progressive.
Which is progressive.
And it is by the state, and
it is by the state as well as by the Union of India. For the every citizen of India, he can say, so sir, my custom is something else, he can say. And he can follow that custom.
Bishnoi
But that means no, you already digressed, or you may completely ignore the directive principles of law. You can't ignore completely.
बिश्नोई जी, इस मामले में आप कुछ जोड़ना चाहेंगे? जो सवाल इन्होंने किया कि अलग अलग यहाँ पे व्यवस्थाएं हैं, लेकिन स्टेट के नज़र में, स्टेट को तो एक यूनिफॉर्मिटी ट्रीटमेंट को, सिटीजन के ट्रीटमेंट को तो लाना होगा ना, वो तो करना ही पड़ेगा. उस मामले में आपका क्या कहना है?
स्टेट कोई अलग तो है नहीं, स्टेट हिंदुस्तान में है, स्टेट अलग, राजस्थान अलग कर देगा, गुजरात अलग कर देगा, फिर उससे मतलब समस्याएं पैदा होगी. तो ये तो सेंट्रल एक्ट के हिसाब से आना चाहिए, ताकि मतलब सभी समानता रहे.
मतलब आपका इसमें स्टैंड है कि जो करे इस मामले में सेंटर करे, बाकी लोग फॉलो करेंगे. इट्स टाइम फॉर अस टू हेड इनटू अ ब्रेक. व्हेन वी रिटर्न we will talk of Article 48 or promotion of animal husbandry and prohibition of cow slaughter. Welcome back. You're watching Constitutionally Yours. In this segment, we will take up Article 14, which is promotion of animal husbandry on scientific lines and also prohibition of cow slaughter. And I will read to you the exact lines that have been stated in the directive principles. The state shall endeavour to organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines, and shall in particular take steps for preserving and improving the breeds and prohibiting the slaughter of cows and calves and other milch and draught cattle. Now, sir, straight away getting into this question, sir, can the centre legislate on this issue? as far as the earlier segment was concerned, Uniform Civil Code, most of you said that, okay, the center will legislate on this. But on this matter, prohibition of cow slaughter and promotion of animal husbandry, does the center have power to legislate?
Two questions is there. First, whether the Union of India have or central government have a power to introduce such a law on reforms or completely prohibition of the settler, anything else, all the animal, not only cow but some more animals are there. So far Rajasthan is concerned, Rajasthan is the first state to already introduce such a law in 1995, and we completely ban on the settler of the cows. But it is not implemented. I have no words that after some law we are not in position to implement such a law. Same very well in IPC or some other law, there is a law in India, but it is not implemented strictly. So we are of the opinion, my party is of the opinion that there is a complete ban on the settler of the cow, because it is the most an important part to growth of the Indian agriculture production. In so many items, we can say in political side, so many items are there, so many workers are there, but it is as per our directive principle of 14, we must introduce a uniform law in the India. It may be difference in some item.
But can the center legislate on it? Does the center have the power to legislate?
So far, power of the central government is concerned, it is not a bar. A directive principle can also be implemented, or can Union of India or a central government may also introduce such a law to introduce by the state, like a electricity act. Now the Union of India have directed all the states to please introduce such a law, because all the companies are going to the losses. So Union of India can direct it to the state, and the state is obliged to it and make such a law.
So there was an attempt on the center, on the part of the center, to do this. Unfortunately, it realized that it does not have the power to legislate on cow slaughter or such matters, because it is strictly in the states list. It doesn't have the power. There was also an attempt made to bring it to the concurrent list, but even that did not succeed. But on the matter of prohibition of cow slaughter and promotion of animal husbandry, do you think implementation is again because of lack of will on the political outfits, that is the legislature and the executive? They don't have the political will to implement or crack down the way it has been provided in directive principles.
राजस्थान में गायों के बारे में बसरे जो भी है, कत्ल खाने गाय राजस्थान में नहीं है, दूसरे गुजरात में है, सब जगह है। और मैं भी इस बात में पक्ष में हूँ कि जो दुधारू पशु है उनके कत्ल नहीं होने चाहिए, परंतु दुधारू पशु दूध देने के बाद में लोग छोड़ देते हैं, उनकी शेल्टर की व्यवस्था भी अलग से होनी चाहिए, तब जाकर के कत्ल खाने रोकेंगे। ये बात ज़रूरी है कि स्टेट पर निर्भर है, फिर भी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की जिम्मेवारी बनती है कि वो भी अपनी तरफ से अलग से इसके लिए कानून पास करें।
Sir, you know, the whole point comes and rests at the point where implementation is concerned. You have a law here, their legislation is on. In Rajasthan, cow slaughter is banned, animal husbandry promotion is there is a proper law guiding it. But as he himself accepted, implementation is something that they have not been able to do. You people are at the forefront of ensuring that such legislations are implemented. Where is the problem, sir? Where do you find this to be an issue?
देखिए, एक तो सबसे पहले मैं ये क्लियर करना चाहूँगा कि जो वर्ड स्टेट को लेकर के प्रोविंस समझा जा रहा है, मेरे को लग रहा है दैट इज़ रॉन्ग. हियर स्टेट इज governing agency that includes legislature, executive as well as judiciary. In constitution, wherever the word state is used, it is not for province.
Okay.
It is for state, Rajya, the governing agency of the country.
Trinity, the legislature, the executive and the
yes,
judiciary.
for judiciary, all three. So it is not the question of center or for province. It is for state. So far as this issue is concerned, you see in 1960 a central act was made in the name of Prohibition of Cruelty Against Animals Act 1960. So far as Rajasthan is concerned, we had an act of 1978. We are having rules with regard to even transportation and migration of the animals and cattle. We are then in 1995, we are having certain other provisions with regard to transportation of all kind of cattle. So far as Article 48 is concerned, its scope is quite large. It is not only for cow, it is for all milch and drought animals.
Yes.
I tell you one thing, in a very important judgment, a constitutional bench judgment, that is in the case of Qureshi Kasab Jamaat. What happened in Gujarat, an amendment was introduced. As a matter of fact, deleting a provision. Earlier there was a proviso that no milch animal or cattle that can be slaughtered before the age of 16 years. Meaning thereby, after the age of 16 years,
It's open
it was open. That proviso was removed. Matter went to Supreme Court and ultimately matter was referred to the constitutional bench. Though there was two views, minority views is different, majority view is different. Majority view accepted whatever amendment introduced. But I tell you an interesting thing, that was also on basis of economic reasons. That is for economic reasons, not for any religious or sentimental reasons. In second last para of that judgment, in the majority view, it is mentioned that milch animals, what is their use in rural areas
and the economic
and
aspect.
the economic aspect. So yes, ultimately we are required to adhere, we are required to implement each and every directive principle.
And
You can't say we will not implement. Yes, but these can't be enforced by law. It is moral for legislature, it is foundation for governance, for executive, and we are also required to check if something is happening that is against the spirit of directive principles, but we can't say that this law is void because there is a violation of directive principles.
We'll open up the floor for questions. Yes.
My name is Shloka Sa and I'm from National Law University, Jodhpur. So how is it right to stop one person who does not give a certain attachment or reverence to cow, for him to be banned to eat beef as opposed to someone for who it's important not to eat beef?
Balancing the needs versus the sentiments. There is an economic need for cheap meat to be made available to the large population in this country who can't afford expensive meats. That is the need, economic need, and balancing it with the sentiments of the people.
देखिए इसमें तीन बातों को एक साथ पकड़ना पड़ेगा आपको। उसकी पर्सनल फीलिंग या उसकी पर्सनल जो ज़रूरत है उसको इक्वल टू द पब्लिक नहीं की जा सकती। मेरी पर्सनल फीलिंग या मेरी पर्सनल जो रिक्वायरमेंट है वो अलग हो सकती है, पर एज ए लार्ज स्केल पर एज ए स्टेट लेवल पर उसको आप इक्वलेट नहीं कर सकता। इसीलिए हो सकता है कि उसको अपने पर्सनल गेन के लिए खाने के लिए सस्ते में कोई चीज़ उपलब्ध हो सकती है, लेकिन आप उसको अनुमान कीजिए कि उसकी इस पर्सनल फीलिंग से जाकर के ये जो कंप्लीट आपको दूध देने वाला पशु है वो हमेशा के लिए ख़त्म हो जाएगा। तो आपको डिफरेंस करना पड़ेगा कि आपका पर्सनल गेन कितना हो रहा है या होना चाहिए, आपका पर्सनल राइट क्या है, वो अगेंस्ट ए लार्ज स्केल। तो आप इन दोनों में डिफरेंस करोगे तो आप इस नतीजे पे पहुँचोगे नहीं, काउ सेटलर कम्प्लीटली और एनिमल और अदर एनिमल्स कम्प्लीटली उनका सेटलर कम्प्लीटली बैन होना चाहिए। इट रिलेटेड टू पर्यावरण, इट रिलेटेड टू जिस लिए आर्टिकल 48 बना है उसके लिए, सो मैनी एस्पेक्ट इज देयर। तो आप कंपेरेसिव देखिए, एक आपका है कि सब मुझे तो पर्सनल गेन है, मेरे को सस्ता में चाहिए तो मुझे क्यों रोका जा रहा, मेरा राइट है, दैट इज ए वन पार्ट, एंड अनदर पार्ट इज एज ए लार्ज स्केल, जैसा मैंने अभी कहा सो मेनी एस्पेक्ट इज देयर। तो उसमें जाएंगे तो हो सकता है आपका पर्सनल गेन में कोई नुकसान होता हो, लेकिन पब्लिक और एट ए लार्ज उसका गेन ज़्यादा होता है।
सर, इस मामले में सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने कई बार ये बात कहा हुआ है कि अगर फंडामेंटल राइट्स और डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स के बीच में कहीं पे टकरार होता है और डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स को फॉलो करते हुए कानून जो बनाए गए हैं वो टक्कर में आते हैं फंडामेंटल राइट्स को लेकर, तो डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स को तवज्जो दिया जाना चाहिए ताकि वो फंडामेंटल राइट्स को थोड़ा सा कर्टेल भले ही करता हो, लेकिन दैट्स द वे टू गो। नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
Hello, My name is Rishabh Meena. I am from National Law University, Jodhpur. My question is towards legislature. Since Article 48 prevents slaughtering of cows on scientific ground, but why is it like that today religious ground prevails over scientific ground?
सर आपको क्वेश्चन है.
Religious ground is also one of the best grounds. So many generations, we can say in our world, so many PDs, our at a Ramayana काल, at a महाभारत काल, तो काउस का जो रिलीजियस फीलिंग है उसके रीजन्स थे. एट द टाइम द रेलिवेंट टाइम उसको समझाने का एक तरीका था कि देखिए काऊ आपके लिए इम्पोर्टेंट इतना ज़रूरी है, पर उस आदमी को समझ में नहीं आ रहा था तो उसको रिलीजियस के साथ जोड़कर उसको समझाया गया, तो उसकी फीलिंग्स में ही बैठ गया. एक दिन की फीलिंग नहीं है, सो मैनी जनरेशंस की ये फीलिंग है. और इस फीलिंग्स के पीछे रीजन्स क्या है कि उसका ईच एंड एवरी पार्ट है आपकी लाइफ के लिए इम्पोर्टेंट है. नॉट ओनली मिल्क, नॉट ओनली उसका खाद, ना उसकी चमड़ी, एवरी एस्पेक्ट अगर आप लोगे तो ये जो साइंटिफिक रीजन्स के लिए बताया गया है. और अमेरिकन ने जब ये रिसर्च किया तो दे कम टू द कंक्लूजन कि इसके पीछे साइंटिफिक रीजन्स को समझाने का एक तरीका था कि इसको रिलीजियस फीलिंग्स के साथ जोड़ करके समझाओ तो वो आराम समझ जाएगा कि हमारे पशु हमारे लिए कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है.
बिश्नोई जी इस मामले में कुछ कहना चाहेंगे आप?
देखो, गाय का जो दूध होता है वो दूध नहीं, वो तो अमृत है. और गाय के जो पंचगव्य है, दूध, दही, घी, गोबर, यूरिन, सभी पवित्र है, हर चेतन पवित्र. तो विशेषकर गाय का जो दूध, दही, घी खाते हैं उनकी बुद्धि शार्प होती है, आदमी एक्टिव होता है, बीमारी भी नहीं होती है. गाय हर चीज़ से, हर कोण से ही फायदेमंद है. इसीलिए गाय को महत्व को समझाने के लिए इसको धर्म से जोड़ा गया.
सर योर इनपुट सर.
भाई जो हम 3 पैनलिस्ट यहाँ पे हैं, इनमें से मैं अकेला नॉनवेज हूँ, बाकी दोनों ये वेज हैं, लेकिन मैं बीफ नहीं खाता हूँ. शायद मेरे अंदर कुछ इस तरह के संस्कार हैं इसलिए नहीं खाता हूँ. लेकिन मैं आपको ये कहना चाहूँगा कि आर्टिकल 48 वो किसी रिलीजियस और सेंटिमेंटल रीजन से नहीं, क्योंकि उसके अंदर काव्स, अदर मिल्च एनिमल्स एंड ड्रॉट एनिमल्स हैं. तो इसका बेस इकोनॉमिक है. हम इतनी बड़ी रिस्क लें कि एक बहुत बड़ा सेक्टर इसको कंज्यूम कर रहा है, आप बगैर ऑब्जेक्टिव कंडीशंस को देखे इसे बंद कर देंगे. दिस फॉर लेजिस्लेचर अल्टीमेटली अगर कोई ऐसा प्रोविजन आता है देन वी आर रिक्वायर्ड टू एनफोर्स दैट. बट सो फार एज टुडेज पोजीशन इज कंसर्न, राजस्थान में है ऐसा प्रोविजन नहीं होता है. जहाँ पे यहाँ नहीं है वहाँ हो रहा है. रहा दूसरी इश्यूज़ का कि आपने कहा कि तीक्ष्ण बुद्धि इनकी होती है, मेरे ख्याल से ये कोई साइंटिफिक स्टडी नहीं है. हो सकता है होती हो, आई डोंट कैन से एनीथिंग, लेकिन मेरा मानना है कि ये बहुत बड़ा इशू है. इसको बहुत इजीली और केवल सेंटिमेंट्स या रिलीजियस रीजन से छेड़छाड़ कर दी जाए वो उचित नहीं होगा.
This is all we have time for in this episode. We'll be back with a new issue and a new episode. Keep watching Rajya Sabha TV.